I hope you're doing well. I'm Kylie and welcome back to A Slice of Kai. Today I'm doing something, for the first time, I'm doing a monthly wrap-up. So I'm doing it obviously for May 2016 because May is officially over. Happy June. I had a very good reading month. It was my first month without class for 9 months now. I did have class though for the first 2 weeks, so I'm pretty impressed because it was finals, so I had papers and stuff. So I'm very, very impressed with how much I read in the last half of May. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. I'm going to try and go in order of what I read. The first one I read in May was the one that was still for class, of course, in the first half, and that was actually from this book. And this is my collection, my anthology of all of the history plays that Shakespeare wrote. And so I read Richard III in May, which is all about, obviously, Richard III, and it is a brilliant play. It's all about pretty much who he's deemed to be the most evil king thanks to the Tudors. It's all about Richard trying to come into power. He is just ruthless, and you hate him, but you love to hate him. He's kind of enthralling and really intriguing because he's so ruthless, and it makes you think, what makes a person like that, and it's just really, really good. If you don't want to read all of the history plays, Richard III covers a lot of, kind of the themes and the questions of existence and stuff that Shakespeare kind of goes through in his history plays. So if you want just a gist of what it's like to read the history plays, it's a good one. It's also kind of in the middle. It's not one of his really, really, really early ones, one of the Henry VI. So it's a little bit more organized than those ones are too, so you get a better kind of idea of his history writing style. So that's a really good one to start with if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So the next things I read, I don't think I read these, I read them separately, but I'm just going to talk about them together because it's part of what I'm doing for this summer, and I'm calling it the Summer of Series. And there's 2 different series I'm trying to get through. So I'm rereading all of Harry Potter, essentially is what you need to know right now. I tackled the first one in April while I was in school because it was super short, and the Philosopher's Stone is the easiest one to read. I tackled the next 2 in May because they're the last short ones, and then it's on to the giant. Chamber of Secrets and Prisoner of Azkaban, which you guys probably all knew when I said 2 and 3, but Prisoner of Azkaban was probably my favorite one of all of them, but I don't remember. This was my favorite one, I should say, when I was little, so I really enjoyed rereading this one. I remembered why I loved it so much. I love Hermione in this one. She's so cool. I want to be her so bad. I want a time turner because there's so many classes I wish I could take that have interference issues, or I just don't have time to, so I would love to be her. And I love the introduction to Sirius. I forgot, but Lupin though. I get Sirius Black, but Lupin he is the heroic adult for me in this. Hagrid too, but Hagrid's a little bit messy. Chamber of Secrets is good, obviously. I like it, but it's not my favorite. I just don't really care for the story. I kind of forgot I like book Ginny better than movie Ginny, and I feel that develops more in the later books too. But she has even a little bit more presence in the book than in the movie, so I kind of enjoyed that, but it's not my favorite Harry Potter book. I'm really excited to get to the later ones because obviously they become better and better because they become darker and more grown up. But I'm really excited. 3 in already, and it's only June, and so I'm feeling pretty good. I gotta get them all done by July 31st, guys. You know why. I read Voyager, which is, if you don't know, the third book in the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. And I read the first 2 last year. I loved Outlander. It's one of my favorites. If you have not read the first and second one, it's impossible for me not to spoil. So I'm going to tell you a time to go jump to, and I'll hold my hand up like this. I'll put it down when it's safe to come back. I'm assuming you've read Dragonfly and Amber if you are here right now. Voyager picks up at that end after they watch Gillis or Jillian go back in time. It starts off with a lot of more kind of research of where Jamie's been and stuff. And so what's really cool is it flashes back and forth between present time with Claire, and then it goes back in time to Jamie. And so they'll find a piece that shows oh, he was in this place, or he was in this prison, or he was in this battle. And then it'll go to a chapter, and Jamie will actually tell you the story of it. It's eye-rolling and ridiculous, and I did have some issues at the end. I think Gabaldon did kind of too many too many consecutive things or too many disasters that they survived. I mean, it's Outlander. It is ridiculous, you know? I love Claire and Jamie together, though. I'm going to try the fourth one. Something happens where I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with the series. I'm definitely going to do the fourth one and see where Gabaldon takes it. And depending on how that one ends, I'm going to kind of decide if this really long, drawn-out series is worth to continue. But right now, I'm going to. This one is actually the only nonfiction I read. It was a biography. The title is Rosemary, the Hidden Kennedy Daughter by Kate Clifford Larson. So it's all about Rosemary Kennedy, and if you don't know who she is, she was, again, the eldest daughter, but she had some kind of like learning disability, some like social disabilities as well. She was functionable, but she needed like an aid because she was a little bit rash with emotions and anger. Basically, her father was terrified she was going to ruin her older brother's political careers, and so he decided to do the controversial surgery that is known as a lumbotomy, which is the severing of the frontal lobes of the brain. It's really sad, and her parents are kind of deplorable in my book after this. Her mom, she didn't actively take part in what her father did. She turned an eye to it, and I know she couldn't do anything in hindsight, but she kind of didn't admit to knowing about it and didn't go visit her daughter for 20 years, and to me that's guilty. It talks a lot more about the rest of the Kennedys than I expected, which makes sense though, because there's not that much on Rosemary, because the Kennedys kept her so hidden and she wasn't able to do much because of what her father did to her. If you're interested in the Kennedys, especially about Rosemary and that whole tragic story, I highly recommend that book. It is fantastic. The final book that I don't have with me right now was Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and holy cow, I loved this book. It is like a pandemic apocalypse. So it's all about how the world's forever changed because like electricity, gas, all that stuff's gone because like 99% of the human population on the entire planet gets wiped out. But the brilliant part, and it's a Star Trek Voyager quote, which I think's kind of hilarious because that is like the quotes that our future generations would probably use, or like they'll see as our important quotes, but it was because survival is not sufficient. And that was the quote of the traveling symphony that roamed around this new world, and they went and they performed Shakespeare and like classical pieces of music and like other plays at like these little surviving towns. I love that because that just shows to me the importance of art and history and culture, and how survival for humans, being like sentient beings, eat, sleep, drink, run, like all those like basic survival needs. Like yes, you need to survive obviously, but when you're like a conscious thinking being, there are other things that are so important for life to be enjoyable and have purpose. You know, that sentience, that's what creates civilization. It's just so good. It's 5 out of 5, and I want to read more of her stuff. She has more novels. I need to look. I haven't looked yet. You need to pick it up, especially if you love apocalypse stuff. It's a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic book, and I implore you to read it, please. The 7th book that I completed is Percy Jackson, and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I never read this. It kind of came out when I was in like middle school, so it was one of those where it just kind of missed the age where I maybe would have been really into reading this. So I never picked it up. I went to my little brother's bookshelf and I found this, and I decided I would steal it from him and read it, and I read it in like a day and a half. This is about Percy Jackson. He finds out that he is a half-blood, I think demigod technically, but he finds out that his father is a god from the Greek mythology. His mother is obviously human. And it's all about, he gets wrapped up in all of a sudden into the world of the gods, and he gets sent on this quest because Zeus's master bolt has been stolen, and he is the main suspect because of who his father is. So he has to go and try and find who took it to keep like World War III from happening because of the gods becoming involved in a war over this master bolt. Rick Riordan is hilarious. His writing is really fantastic. There's good plot. It happens really fast. There's not a whole lot of development, but it's middle grade. So I don't want to be like harsh on that because it's not at all bad writing. It's just written for a certain demographic, and I understand that. Kind of because of that, I gave it like 4 out of 5 stars, just because I read a lot of adult stuff, so it's a lot different for me. It's nothing against the quality of this book. It's really fun. If you haven't read it, grab it. If you have kids and they haven't read it and you want to introduce them to kind of fantasy stuff, this is a really great place to start. The half book that I read was A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. Now, I only read half, not because I didn't like it, but because I read half of it on May 31st, and I have now continued to read it into June. I kind of like to say that it is Twilight with better plot, better characters, and just a better storyline. Diana Bishop is a witch, and she has discovered a manuscript that has been missing for 150 years, and it sets the world of creatures, which are witches, vampires, and demons, or daemons, going wild because they all want their hands on this manuscript because it's mysterious and what it could possibly say. And she becomes involved with a vampire, and they begin to have like a romance, which is the Twilight kind of part. But like I said, Diana Bishop is like a much stronger character than Bella Swan ever was. She's powerful, she's independent, she's capable. She doesn't necessarily know how to use that power yet, but she's still powerful, and she has all of the potential. She doesn't need protection forever. She just needs to learn how to protect herself, and then she'll be fully capable of it. She's not a damsel in distress, and plus there's a crap ton more plot in this than there ever was in Twilight, and so it's fantastic. And I'm very excited to finish this and then the rest of the series. That's it for May. I'm really looking forward to read more in June. I do have vacation that is not like a reading vacation. It's a very active vacation, so I don't know how much I'm going to get to, but I'll hopefully do a June TBR soon, and we'll kind of see what I get done. If you liked my wrap-up today, give it a thumbs up for me, please, and also subscribe if you want to keep up on my videos. I have lots of stuff planned out for the summer, so you don't want to miss out on that. As always, I will link all my social media stuff and my blog if you want to check out any of my writings or any of my reviews, like full reviews of other books that I've read, because I tend to write those. It's easier to organize my thoughts. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye!